15th meeting, remote meeting of Needham Commission on Disabilities. And first on the agenda is our tribute to Elaine.
Yeah.
And Babs, you did drop off some things at her home today?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure if everyone is aware of what that consisted of.
I got,
it was-
okay, I got a lovely a loose leaf book with that Manny brailled several tributes from people that I was very impressed with Manny's knowing all that braille too, and it took him a long time. But I thank everybody, even the people from the past, Karen Pierce and Sue Kroll,
Yeah.
and Susan Rains. So I'm just so appreciative, and I knew from the first, way back in '91 when we first started meeting in the actually in town hall, because I don't think they really trusted us and knew what was going on with us. And then we moved, as Dale wrote me, we moved over to the Stephen Palmer building down in the basement where the
my God.
cafeteria was.
Oy.
Oh, yeah. And,
The dungeon.
yeah,
The
it
least
was,
accessible place to be.
yeah, right. And so we've come a long way, but I've always felt we've been a very unusual, gifted, devoted, and team. We work as a team, and we do good for the town and for the people, most of all for the people. So I think as gradually as the years went on, they became much more relaxed and turned to us to, help them and work as a team. And we're blessed. So
Yeah.
but I want to thank everybody, and very, very generous gift certificates. Babs, I don't know if you told them where I from Not Your Average Joe's, and from, of course, TJX, and, and the others. So it was very generous. And once this pandemic gets over, hopefully, we certainly will have it. But I have you. Let me just ask: has has it been posted for a new member?
Actually,
Tatiana?
I don't know that they have. I'm gonna check the website right now. I believe the last time I spoken to her, she was getting ready to do it, but I don't know if she actually got around to it. I do know that they have a plan and they know who's going to be conducting the interviews and doing all of that, but I don't know if it actually got posted. I want to say that it did, but I'm just checking right now. But while I do that, in the meantime, I just wanted to let everyone know on the screen I have a picture of the plaque that we presented Elaine with, which is all done in Braille. So Elaine, hopefully you were able to read it and it made sense
All of
to
it.
you.
Oh, absolutely. And even they sent me a certificate of honor, whatever, from the town, and
Yeah.
that was also overlaid with Braille. So
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. It's really very, very, very thoughtful.
Yes, yes. Well, you deserve it. You deserve so much. You've been such a huge help to all of us, and we, we really appreciate everything you've done for us.
And I've been blessed with my first co-chairperson was Adrienne Day, DEY, and she actually had been a client of mine at the Commission for the Blind. She was very good. And then Maureen Gallagher and Jeannie, and we go on. It's terrific.
So our website does show a vacancy for a member. However, officially where we look for volunteer opportunities, I do not see it there. So I will follow up with Sandy Sincata again on the status of that.
Yeah, because she did ask me if I would be interested in joining in the interview, and I said, of course.
Oh, thank you, Elaine. That's really super
Oh,
helpful.
that's very
course.
reassuring.
Yeah, of course. Jeannie, thank goodness you're up here now. And you and Corinne will do an excellent job, I know. So,
Thank you, Elaine.
You have big shoes to fill.
Oh, yeah.
no, we work we've always worked as a team. That's good.
Well, I learned so much from you, Elaine, and it was
I don't know.
a joy and an honor to be co-chair with you.
Well, I feel the same. So, I miss you, but I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And so whatever I can do. I don't
I
want
was
to hold
gonna
up your meeting. So if you let me know when you want to start the meeting. So
Okay, I just want to say it's been an honor to work with you. I too, it's bad. I too have learned so much from you, and I'm grateful for this blessing to be your friend and coworker. Thank
Yeah.
you.
well, that's I consider everybody on the commission as friends. I mean, you get to know people, and it's good friends. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. So it
That's so
enhances your life. To do, enhances your life. It's just fabulous. So, all right, I'll let you go on with your meeting.
I
Thank
see
you,
Dale's
Elaine.
name, but not his face. Is he connected with us?
Who?
Dale, he's
You
just
want-
not on camera.
Yeah, and Manny did send me an email saying that he was not gonna be able to make this meeting because he's not feeling too well. So we wish him
Okay.
speedy recovery.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. All right. Continue on, and I'm thinking about all of you. And anytime you want to say hello or do anything, or want to just run something by me, I'm here.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Elaine.
Okay.
We
We'll do
appreciate
our
that.
best.
Good hearing from you, Elaine.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
Dale.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Elaine.
Bye-bye.
I'm so glad the call-in worked for her this time.
Excellent, yes.
But it sounds like she's had a lot of practice with her book club, so.
Yeah.
So we,
Okay.
up next is the co-chairperson report.
Yes, with advocacy calls. I
Right.
believe you took some, Corinne?
I did, and then I passed the torch. So there were 2 that I received, and I think one that Tatiana had received. One was regarding a Trader Joe's incident,
Mhm.
and the other
Yeah.
from a resident who had issues with her landlord.
And there was a new one yesterday as well.
Okay.
Oh, another one. Oh, my.
Another one, yeah. It's
Mm.
a resident who we've dealt with before. She has chemical disabilities, and so she's unfortunately, it sounds like a situation where we might not be able to help. But it looks like Manny's coming in.
Oh, good.
Hey, Manny. He's on mute.
Manny, are you
No.
there? Manny? Manny, are you there?
Oh,
There's Manny.
There he
all
is.
right.
You're
Manny,
muted though.
Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Hi guys.
Hi,
Yay.
Manny.
Oh, I had a little scare. My blood pressure was high. I called the doctor. The doctor said it's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, I
Well,
didn't miss Elaine speech or anything, right?
oh, she just hung up a few seconds ago.
Oh, so it is over?
Yeah.
It is.
It is, but she appreciated all your work in Braille.
Yeah, she was very
Oh,
impressed
thank you,
with
thank you,
spelling.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, she called me earlier to tell me, and she couldn't believe, that you did all of that. She was very, very thankful.
Yeah, I enjoyed every bit of it. It was great. It was good practice for me. I had just gotten my certificate, and I said, "Hey, what better opportunity to do it?"
That's a great way to start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we're very appreciative.
Thank you, guys. Not a problem.
There's
Good deal.
So I was saying that there's a resident in town that has chemical disabilities. So she's she's highly allergic to pesticides and construction materials and certain, materials that we use on the roads or construction or fertilizer, mulch. It's very, very, that person's very sensitive to what's, to the products that people use day to day. And so the house next to her has sold, and she wasn't aware, as most people usually don't. And it was sold in a private sale, and so she was calling the commission because she's concerned about what, if any, construction will take place, how the construction, the noise, and the materials would affect her health. So unfortunately, I spoke to the building commissioner, and he told me there's really no bylaw, there's no protection against someone or a resident doing work on their home or doing construction on their home or selling a house. So there's really not much that we can do about that. But I did offer to find out who the the purchaser was, because that is public record, once the sale is recorded, and then maybe see if they do have any plans to do construction on the house. This being Needham, there's a very small possibility that they're buying the house just as is, just to live in, So so I just so we can give this woman a heads up. And say, hey, by the way, there will be some construction, just so she can prepare herself physically and whatever other arrangement she needs to do in order to, protect herself from the noise and whatever construction materials they will use.
So just basically as a good neighbor to let the person next to you.
Yeah. So just, she was a bit upset they didn't let her know. I think, she just
I live
found out.
I live in a neighborhood where there are a lot of construction has happened over the years, and they start very early in the morning, and they even work on Sundays sometimes. And I remember calling one time and complaining, and we have no rights that way.
As if the construction is happening between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., there's nothing.
Even on a Sunday, they were working. There were people working on a Sunday. So
yeah, we all have loud neighbors.
I don't know what recourse she has.
It's unfortunate, but I did offer to at least find out who the buyer is, and then maybe see if I can, casually ask what their plans are for the property, so that we can give her a heads up.
Okay,
that's it.
Good.
Go ahead, Corinne.
So with the Trader Joe's incident, I've been going back and forth with the resident, and then I handed it over to Carol to see if maybe she could assist her better. I really wasn't getting through that there's only so much that we can do for an incident like that, but she just seemed to want more than we could provide her at that time. So I think tomorrow.
There's a bench there now. I noticed there's a bench that she can sit on while she waits.
Yeah,
there's a bench there.
That bench has actually been there for a while. And when I talked with her, I mentioned the bench. She said she didn't know it was there, but I said it actually was there. So yeah. And I think they were going to also have some chairs in addition to the bench if people needed them.
Okay. And we're going to close up our conversation with her tomorrow. Carol and I are going to try to set up a time so that the three of us can speak together.
Great.
And then about the resident who was having an issue with her landlord, again, I was able to really solve the issue for her, and she had misquoted me And I, again, handed off that incident to whomever took it. I don't know who took it from me.
It
No,
was,
no,
it was
in
with
the
me.
last meeting, in the last meeting, we were going to get a pro bono lawyer for her or something. That's what we discussed.
Well, yeah, so it was with me for a little bit. I did try to call around and get her some pro bono legal assistance, as I thought that's what she was looking for. But then she, I asked around, I called a couple of practices, I even inquired with town council to see if he knew anyone. And I called a few places around, but it turned out in the end, I think she got her own counsel. And so I'm removed from the situation now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this the gal that wanted to be an access monitor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same
I don't
person.
Well,
know that we
Metro
can
West,
identify
Metro West
people.
Center for Independent Living is always a good resource to give to these individuals.
I did, yeah. I mean, there were tons of places. I was surprised. There was the Boston Law Center. There was a New England Law Center. There was a New England Disability Advocacy Group. There were tons of resources, but really getting pro bono services it's hard. There's not a lot available. But it sounds like in the end she figured out her own. The way to she got her own counsel, and so like I said, we're removed from the process now.
Okay.
So that's been resolved as far as we're concerned.
As far as we're concerned, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's this AAB Public Safety Variance Report. You have that, Corinne?
Yeah, I shared it with everyone in the Google Drive. Did
Yes.
everyone take a look at that?
Yeah,
And I believe that Debbie had gone down to take a look at the location personally.
I did.
Yeah.
And I had questions because we've been to that space before. And I think this person is complaining about the same space that we've already.
What is the address on that?
It's a garage at Blockbuster, below the,
Where it used to be.
yeah,
Hmm.
That's
I don't,
272 Chestnut Street.
right. It's the garage.
So 148 Chestnut Street?
272.
272.
Oh, the Deaconess Glover is 148. Is that different? Is that a different? Do they own the building?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. 272.
Just for a recap, the reported violations include the sidewalks. There need to be enough access to accessible spaces or a pair of spaces.
Right.
Access aisles, I guess, are not wide enough. 1 in every 8 accessible spaces, but no less than 1 shall be van accessible. Thank you, Corinne.
No, you won't.
And then there's no designated van accessible place.
Right. That's the big issue.
Yeah.
Of the spaces van accessible, and now the spaces have designated extra room for a ramp to come out of a van.
Here's the pictures too.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously pretty inadequate for accessible, parking.
But
No curb cuts.
That's, yeah, that's the side. There's the curb cut. Degrees around it. But she didn't picture that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a curb cut on the other side, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I see
But-
what you're saying on the other side of that picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back here.
No, it would be
Probably on
over,
the, yeah.
past the door on the other side.
Okay.
And what the other part, so they would have to go around to the other parking spot to get
Yep.
to the curb cut.
Gotcha. Is that Jeff?
Yes, I'm
Oh, hi,
here to,
Jeff.
I'm here to interpret.
Thank you. I see what you're saying.
We've had this issue in the past, and I thought it had all been resolved.
I do.
Well, I will do some digging on 272 Chestnut. That address
Yeah.
did not sound familiar to me, but I will do some research to see if there's anything on that particular site that has come up before from the committee.
What is it next to? Is there any?
Isn't it the medical building there? I've been in that parking garage before. It's like a gymnasium now.
Yes.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Is that the one with the-
Right next to Dunkin' Donuts on
Yeah,
Chestnut.
it's
Okay,
it's where the
Oh, okay.
it's where the
Okay.
Blockbuster used to be, if you can remember that far back.
It was at least 5 years ago, maybe 10, that we had this issue.
And
You
those-
access the, if you access the parking from below, from the back.
From the back. Yeah. Yeah.
And those spaces are very narrow.
Actually, appropriate size. That just isn't
Mhm.
the side hatch for a van to drop off versus using a ramp from the van to get out.
Yeah.
That's what needs to change. But it been before. Is it right?
Yeah, I remember being there with you. And you and I figured out the simple solution of where to put the cross hatching to have it work. But no one ever listens to us.
Mm. Are they looking for the commission to respond?
No, I think they
Usually they're just letting us know what's in process.
they just want to get this.
We're just sitting on it, actually.
Okay.
No, this is it is it is nothing. It to do. I want some clarification. It's what I did in the past. And I haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
If you take a look,
Yep.
we can find out.
I'll do a search for this address and see if anything has popped up before.
What has happened in the past is we're just
I think
copied on.
you're just
This is a first notice.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we'll get a
They've asked
copy of
for a
their
response.
response to this. And then we'll see the final decision from the board.
Right.
if it runs its usual course.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Debbie.
Sure.
Debbie. So the next is a report on statewide conference call for COEs and ADA coordinators.
Yeah, I see. The agenda.
I sat in on that and Corinne did, and Tatiana, you were there for part of it, is that right or not?
I did, no, I did, I was there for a little bit, yeah.
For all of it. I took a few notes. I don't think there was anything earth-shattering, so you two can jump in. They did talk about the grants, and there were 50 grants awarded last year. The new cycle of awarding grants began August 1st. So now they're accepting new grants for, I think, a total of $250,000 is what they have to award.
Mhm.
They talked about FEMA has changed since Katrina, and they feel like now they are doing a better job of reaching out to people with disabilities in times of crisis. Now, I'm not sure how that is playing out with the pandemic, but they're hopeful that they have a better response now. In their survey, 2.6% of people in Massachusetts identify as disabled, but they think that number is actually much higher. But that's the number that identify themselves. What was interesting, before the pandemic, 2% of Massachusetts residents worked remotely. Since COVID, it's now 50%.
Wow.
And they're saying that this actually opens up a lot more possibilities for people with disabilities able to work
Yes.
from home.
People who have been told for a long time that they needed to be, you know, that they needed to show up to work, that they needed to come into work, it's actually turning out that no, you could do your job remotely, and if you're disabled, that really plays in your favor, you know?
So it's people are thinking in new ways, which has really benefited to some extent
Mhm.
the people who are at home. Then they talked a little bit about masks. There's some issues of people who were saying they could not wear a mask due to their medical situation. And there is an edict by the governor, a governor's executive order that says some people, they do have permission to not wear a mask, and they don't have to carry the order with them to let business owners know, but they can remind the business owner that they have a right to not wear a mask because of a medical situation. But they also talked about the situation of, said it's always best if you know you have to go someplace, whether it's a mask that's going to be required or you have to sit and wait someplace, it's best to call ahead so that you can know what the situation is and let the business owner know how they can accommodate you. So it's in the person's best interest to try and be proactive in getting through these difficult situations.
Yeah.
So that's what I took away from the meeting. I don't know if Tatiana or Corinne have anything else to add.
No, but it was very helpful when they also started talking about ways of explaining to clients or those folks in the community that are having issues. Things like what we were telling the person with the Trader Joe incident about calling ahead or making sure there are seats there. So I found that very helpful too.
Well, what I thought was actually timely was the fact that they were actually saying, by the way, there's only so much we can do. Like, we're not lawyers, we are not the police, which is, you know, sort of at the time where Corinne and I were ourselves, you know, like there's only so much we can do. Our role is of guidance and education to the community, not policing.
So an advisory position.
Advisory, exactly. So, but I think a lot of times when people call us, they're asking, you know, they're looking for us to, you know, come in with Calgary that we don't really have.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what he was saying, you know, what the Massachusetts Office on Disability was saying about their own role. Like, we are here to guide and train and advise, but we're not, you know, we're not lawyers and we're not the police. And so if, you know, if we are not able to assist you, then you might need to go outside of us to get the kind of legal assistance or other that you're looking for.
Yeah, and then we can tell them where they can find that information.
Right.
We're also an advocate too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we will now move on to the minutes.
Okay. So everybody should have received the copy I sent via email, and I will read them now. The Needham Commission on Disabilities monthly meeting, June 16th, 2020. Virtual Zoom meeting. Present, Elaine Saunders, co-chair, Carol Thomas, secretary, Babs Moss, member, Dale Wise, member, Tatiana Swanson, town liaison, Corinne Burke, member, Jamie Martin, co-chair, Manny Iyer, member, Julie Muse Fisher, school department liaison, Debbie Heller, member. Absent, Carl Harmon, police department liaison. Guests, David Summergrad, president, Needham Diversity Initiative, Mary Ricci, and Kate Grott. 1, grant applications. David Summergrad requested a grant for payment of the $200 honorarium for Lillian Elmore's presentation via Zoom, sponsored by the Needham Diversity Initiative. Lillian is a senior at Lexington High School who has cerebral palsy and gave an inspirational talk on empowerment. Living with disabilities, accessibility, and associated challenges. Julie Muse Fisher, along with Mary Ricci and Kate Groton, requested a grant for up to $2,600 to support various initiatives for the new Intensive Learning Center, ILC, at Pollard Middle School. Chairperson's report. Discussion of grant applications. We have a fund of over $8,480.24. Dale made a motion to fund the $200 honorarium for the Lillian Elmore presentation sponsored by NDI. Bab seconded the motion. The motion was unanimously approved. Our decision will be forwarded to the town selectmen for final review, the select board, I should say, for final review. If approved, Tatiana will disperse the funds accordingly. Dale moved that we fund the $2,600 for the ILC. Elaine seconded the motion. Motion was unanimously approved. Retirement of Elaine Saunders, appointment of Corinne Burke as co-chair as of June 30th, 2020. The committee wished Elaine well and thanked her for her 29 years of service. We will delay our official send-off until we can be in person and would like to invite Elaine back to our September meeting. We're looking forward to working with Corinne in her new role as co-chair. Elaine will remind Sandy Sincata to post a committee posting for a member with disability. Minutes of the February 18th, 2020 were read and approved with corrections. ADA liaison report. Walkthrough of the Memorial Park Fieldhouse. Babs and Tatiana met at the Memorial Park Fieldhouse on February 27th. They met with Mike Gretzky, project manager for the Building and Design Construction Department, Town of Needham. Mike walked Tatiana and Babs through the building. Babs put together the attached report. Tatiana will forward a copy after getting input from Mike Gretzky. Advocacy requests for sources of information in making Needham historical home accessible. We had a request from someone restoring a historical home and wanted to make it accessible. They asked the NCOD to provide guidance on how to make ADA compliant. We referred them to the MOD and Metro West Center on Independent Living, the New England ADA Center, and the New England Architectural Center. Also mentioned the Carroll Center for the Blind as a resource. The town has been working with a local restaurant to use the sidewalk for business. We received a concern from a Needham resident about available space and diminished mobility for getting by tables, chairs, and sandwich boards. Tatiana raised this on a COVID biweekly town call. They're doing research into ADA guidelines and benchmarking with other communities such as Waltham and Boston to find out how they navigated these public concerns as we go into the permitting of these outdoor spaces. ADA requirements are that the sidewalk should have a 48-inch clearance. NCOD received a call from someone with a non-visible disability. Her disability prevents her from waiting in line for a long period of time. A staff member from Trader Joe's turned her away on May 13th, 2020 and said then anyone could get a placard and it didn't mean anything. She said they threatened to call the police. She wanted us to provide a reminder to Trader Joe's that it is against the law to ask someone to prove they have a disability. She spoke to the manager. The manager did apologize. The woman said she would write a letter to Trader Joe's. Corinne volunteered to talk with the manager and will report back to the NCOD. Updates. School department. Julie didn't have any updates. The school is planning for summer programs and remote services. School department has created an advisory committee to plan for the fall. HP parking. As of March 5th, the work at the library parking lot has been scheduled. Tatiana just inquired as to the status. Diversity. Carol will keep the NCOD posted about relevant NDI events. The next event will be a presentation about autism by Rosie Doherty. Carol will share the link that David Summergrad sent. Downtown Streetscapes, local emergency planning workshop. No meetings because of COVID. Dale did receive information that Rebecca left the LEPW at the end of April. The position has been posted. Katie Clement has been appointed in the interim. Tatiana received information from the planner for the town common, who will reach out to Dale as needed. Planning for the next meeting, September 15th, 2020. Meeting adjourned 7:10 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Carol Thomas.
Any corrections?
No,
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as
um,
read?
I move to accept them.
Okay, Debbie.
Second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Thank you,
Okay.
Carol. Good job.
All right, and I'll get those to you, Tatiana.
Thank you, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were for my, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeannie.
Go ahead, Tatiana. You're up.
Okay, so for my report, I just want to give you an update on the 2 NCOD grant award status. Out there, August 18, 2020, the select board officially awarded those 2 submissions. One was for David Summergrad on behalf of the Needham Diversity Initiative, the $200 as requested for Lillian Elmore's presentation via Zoom. Carol already gave the background on that. And Julie Muse Fisher, on behalf of the Needham, the new Intensive Learning Center at the Polar Middle School, received $2,600 for various initiatives regarding, or that will benefit children, the learning of children with disabilities. Both checks have been cut. Julie, please tell me you got yours.
Sorry, sorry. Trying to unmute. Yes, we did. Thank you so much. Everything, we
Excellent.
ordered everything, and the students were in the building today. So it's very exciting. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for applying. We're super excited. It's been a while.
Everything is very tight right now financially because of COVID. So it was really very helpful. So thank you.
Excellent. We have a resident of Needham. Her name is Miss Enid Greenhouse, and I think we realized that she might have been looking at an old website because we currently don't have the community monitor program up on our website. And if you guys remember, the community monitor is a 2-day training that Commission on Disability members take that is given by the MOD, and it's basically on, accessibility. It's sort of an intense course to sort of understand what are some of the responsibilities of buildings and commercial properties, and just what to look for, how to measure slopes, how to measure bathrooms that Babs and I are practically experts on. And so this resident had emailed us to ask if she could become a community monitor for NCOD. So I'm just passing along the request, but unfortunately, I'm not sure how that would happen because I don't really know what the role of a community monitor is if it's not an NCOD commission member.
Tatiana, do you know any history about this?
No, I think the only thing, and Jeannie knows more about this, is we had a person who would go around and take pictures of people who had parked illegally in handicapped spots. So that, and I forget his name.
That's something different. That's a parking monitor, and that's something completely different. I think we have never had a community monitor that was not a member of NCOD.
Right.
In reading Al's email, Aaron's email, I think she's got a bone to pick with her landlord, and I think it's a dangerous thing for us to have somebody who's not a member of NCOD because they are representing NCOD, and I just think that she expressed that she doesn't want to become a member of NCOD, and I think it'd be wrong to have somebody who's not a member of NCOD be a community monitor.
Yeah.
I
I
also
mean,
don't know how she would be a community monitor if she's a shut-in. She's unable to actually go out among the community.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think she understands what a community access monitor is. But in fact,
I don't think we know what it is really.
people in the community can sign up to take the course. You don't have to be a member of a commission on disability, but it's a completely separate position than being a member of our board. It's just someone who's interested in learning about monitoring public buildings.
And
But in
where would
fact,
they
because of
get-
COVID, they are not running those training programs now, and I'm not sure when they will.
who runs the programs?
The Massachusetts Office on Disability.
And MOD.
Okay.
So I think
We-
perhaps that is the message that, you know, as a citizen, she's able to sign up directly through the MOD for this program, and become a community access monitor on her own.
Yeah.
But who would she report to?
I mean, there will be nothing to report to. I mean, I don't, you know,
It would
I
just
just
be
don't
an
know.
base that she would have. She would learn how to do that, but there, you know, there's not a congregation of access
not-
monitors get together.
Well, I thought that the community monitor that we've used, people in the past, I think Jeannie, you were part of it, basically went around, and when a new building was opening up, you did a inspection to make sure that ramps were the proper height and or proper pitch, and that the bathrooms and stuff were all ADA
Right.
compliant. But if this gal's gonna take the training by herself, what's she gonna do with it?
So is this here what you're talking about?
That's exactly it, Corinne. Thank you.
Okay. So she can sign up herself.
Yep.
And again, this looks like she would have to go out into the community because attending community events.
What I think we can do is
Yeah,
share
you know,
that information with her.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a useful training anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't think that she needs to apply through us to do it. You know, it's
No, she
Right. I
doesn't.
think we can just explain it through the MOD and give her the information and let her pursue it if she is so inclined.
okay. I will draft something and send it to you guys for feedback.
Okay.
Thank you, Corinne.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we've been gone since May, but in the meantime, there was a lot of activity by Needham restaurants trying to figure out how to serve the public. And you know, with these outdoor seating areas, and of course, as soon as they started popping up, we had a concern from a citizen, actually a former NCOD member, who was concerned that this placement of tables and sometimes nice spotters and barriers along the sidewalk was going to prevent people with visual disabilities from freely moving about. So I took that to the town manager, and we worked with that person in providing feedback to some of the layouts that were proposed, so that it wouldn't interfere with with a person's free ability to transit through the sidewalks of Needham, whether it'll be someone who's using a cane or someone on a wheelchair. Excuse me. So
Even pushing a baby carriage. Even pushing a baby carriage.
I know, we forget about that all the time, as Dale always points out about that library ramp. So this person has been very, very helpful. Bruce Howell, he's been very helpful in pointing out things that perhaps the rest of us take for granted. And we work with Cook and with Sweet Basil and with a number of restaurants and their proposed layouts to ensure that, you know, that they are leaving the space as closest to the building open, and that they have enough width, you know, enough clearance in their sidewalk for people to transit freely. We haven't heard any more concerns since then, so I think it's been a good partnership for us, for the town and Bruce through, you know, through the NCOD. So very glad for that. I just want, you know, this may not become much more of a problem now that we're entering into the colder months. But the town, both the town and Bruce knows that that they have a resource in the partnership that we have created. And just for a little bit of background, when we first came up on this problem, I was trying to look for places, and it sounded like they were having the same type of issues in other cities like Salem and Boston and Framingham and Marlboro, where they were actually closing entire sidewalks to accommodate these. I don't know if anybody has been to the North End, but the entire sidewalk is closed. So, so we didn't have the same kind of problems, and it wasn't the same sort of layout for Needham, but just wanted to give you guys an update. In case this comes out again, this comes up again, maybe next summer, if, you know, by chance we're still in the same situation, heaven forbids. But it looks like we have a good plan, at least in place for now.
I haven't seen any towns that have closed sidewalks. I know Waltham closes Moody Street
Yes.
from like 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And so the whole street becomes seating for restaurants.
One of the examples that was cited was Waltham, along with Marlboro, I think, and Boston and Salem. And some of them were having the same problems. And I guess the biggest thing is, one, you can't, you know, you shouldn't close the sidewalk. You should be able to give them an alternative for transit. Everyone, you know, not just disabled people, everyone, an alternative for transit. And two, that if you are designating any of the outside area as accessible, or, you know, for disabled seating or whatever, that service has to be identical to the rest of the outside area, right? So a lot of times people were having a problem because if you had tables out on what they call parklets, which were former parking spots, there will be no ramp or no way for a wheelchair to navigate down to the street. But as long as you have seating that is accessible and you offer the same services, meaning the same menu, same drinks, same accessibility to food, then you will be okay to have an area that's perhaps not accessible to everyone. So that's just a little bit of background on that. Then the last thing I have is the MOD grant application status. So as we all heard, the MOD has launched another round of application cycle in which communities can submit for initiatives that have to do with the advancement of people with disabilities in their communities. Last year, the town of Needham missed the opportunity due to a technical error, and our application was not received. So this time around, Lynn Show from the health department put together the proposal from last year one more time regarding an application for a new, I'm always forgetting about the name of this, but the survey, the ADA compliance survey.
Transition plan?
The transition plan, ADA compliance, the transition plan, which ours was done, or at least it was updated in the early 2000s, I believe. So it's been a while. And of course, these plans, communities are supposed to be constantly updating and constantly working on them and checking off things off the boxes. Now, as a town, we have done a lot of new construction and a lot of work in making sure that all that construction is accessible. You know, we have members that sit on those committees for the, you know, for the planning and design. We have community access monitors that go in and measure those buildings for compliance. But the one part that we have not really been taking care of is the transition, you know, the compliance and transition plan. So these funding would pay for a consultant to come in and sort of revise the town's plan and bring it up to speed if he gets awarded. So last I heard, that was the plan. they were going to submit for that, and I'm sure the committee will be hearing more about that if it's awarded to Needham.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Now we're ready for the updates. The school department.
Hi, everybody. So our updates are really that school started yesterday. We are in a remote learning model for the first 2 weeks of school due to some facilities work that needs to be done before all students return for in-person learning. We have scheduled to have some of our students with disabilities start in person this week. Today was the first day of that. Everyone is expected to be back in our either hybrid or remote learning models starting September 29th. So that's really the update. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions, but we've spent all summer kind of just trying to navigate kind of planning around the COVID health and safety requirements and how to manage bringing students into school, and really landed on the hybrid model. So not all students will be in the building at the same time. But it's been an exciting week getting students back into it.
Thanks.
How are you feeling about the situation?
Well, it's been a really long summer. I'll say that. Just readjusting our work with this new environment. It's been interesting to be a part of this call, and a lot of the things that you guys are talking about within the town are similar to what we've been thinking about within the schools with regard to wearing face masks, and some students who may not be able to wear face masks, and just making sure everybody has the necessary equipment and cleaning supplies and things to feel safe working with students and maintaining physical distance. So I did a walkthrough of a few of the buildings today, and it was awesome. Everybody was just in it. The kids seemed happy. The teachers were, I think, thrilled to have students back in the buildings. And again, this is just a very small group of kids coming in until the 29th, but it really was, I think it's a good reminder of why everybody's been working so hard, is to have students in school, but just really making sure we're adhering to all the health and safety requirements. So overall, we feel really good.
Must have been difficult for a lot of the special education families.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I think for everybody, it's just such an adjustment, especially right in March. Everybody in the home is working from home and school from home and learning on the fly how to adjust to the new world. And I would say, obviously my lens is special education, but really figuring out how you deliver IEP services differently has just been a totally different experience. But we've come such a long way from March until now. We've learned a lot, and our staff are, really familiar with providing services via Zoom. Some families have selected to have their students stay home full-time remotely. That's the right of every family can choose that. So we're in a good place in terms of, where we were and what we've learned and our plans for the fall. So, but yeah, definitely a challenge for sure.
Wow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Julie.
Debbie, do you have any updates on handicap parking? Oh,
No, nothing
okay.
except this string out this garage.
Yeah, the AAB public safety variance.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything from people about any issues.
Carol, any update on diversity?
So there is an October event that is still TBD. So once I get some information on that, I'll send that out. The Diversity Summit is on for November. I'm not sure what it will look like, if they'll do it, if they'll try to do it remotely. So as there's more information on that, I'll share. But that's really all I have at the moment.
Thank you.
I think I'm on the panel there.
You are. Great.
Yeah, Rebecca Drill asked me if I could be on the panel. I said yes, but now I have second thought.
All right, the panel for the Diversity Summit?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I was assuming they would plan to do it remotely. So I will get an update, from either David or Rebecca and have more to share next time.
All right.
Dale?
Dale, you're up.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the downtown streetscapes, they've had no meetings, so we've got nothing there. On the local emergency planning committee, they had a remote meeting yesterday, and I had to work, so I was not able to take that. And when I get the minutes of that, I will pass them on to everybody. I have also been asked to be on a town common work group. They're going to be redoing the town common, and I attended the very first remote meeting of that. Last week they had a meeting on the town common, and I was unable to meet to make that meeting. My understanding is they are talking about doing an oval instead of the X with the sidewalk. They're going to do an oval in the center, and I'm not too sure about that, but it seems to be something that most of the group wanted. But they're going to rip up the whole common. They're going to take out trees. Evidently, there's been a problem with drainage, so they're going to redo the drainage, and they're going to redo the sidewalk, and they're going to plant more trees to replace the ones they're ripping up there. And I'm not sure when that's all going to take place, but I would assume by next summer that that'll be in the works there. And that's it for now. As I get more meetings that I attend, I'll pass on info.
I also wanted to add that we hire a new emergency management administrator. Our former emergency management administrator, Rebecca Ping, took a very nice job with Tufts University back in May, I believe. So we since hired Michael Lithin. I hope I'm saying that right. But he's now going. Did you meet him?
He's the one who's been sending the emails out.
Oh, great.
So
Great.
Yeah.
He's going to be running those local emergency planning committee meetings now.
Okay.
Great.
I guess we're up to planning for next meeting.
Any unfinished business, new ideas, anything that we haven't talked about yet that someone wants to bring up?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm pretty certain we're going to be doing this remotely again next month
Okay.
and for several months maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it seems like we're still able to get things done this way. So lucky for having Zoom in our lives.
Getting proficient at it.
Yeah. Babs and I need to still walk through the Mitchell modulars, but now with school back in session and the COVID restrictions, I'm not really sure when that will happen. But whenever we're able to, we will. And, the police and fire safety complex, the fire moved back into the building on August 24, and now they're working on the police side, and the police is over at the former Hillside School. And so when that's done, we will do a walkthrough as well, but that will be a while. By then, COVID will be gone.
Tatiana,
Yes.
Are they
Yes.
rebuilding the other firehouse?
Was that?
Are they rebuilding the other firehouse?
I think they're doing that too.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
been
yeah.
down that way. I don't know how far along the project is.
They tore the whole building down.
Mm.
Yeah, where are they housed temporarily? The
Well,
Heights one.
Oh, the Heights one. Not sure.
Building is gone.
Yeah, they could be all at the new fire station. I'm not really sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Okay.
Good,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
All
Take
We'll
care,
right.
see you in
everybody.
October.
Good meeting.
Good.
Very good meeting. Very
Okay.
good meeting.
Good night, everybody.
Take
Thank
care,
you. Good
everybody.
night.
Thanks
All right.
again, Manny, for all the brailing you did.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Manny.
Good job,
yeah.
Manny.
What an effort. Thank you so much.
Oh, not a problem. Not a
All right.
problem.
It
It was
made
my
it really
pleasure.
special for Elaine.
Jeannie, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be here.
And Debbie too.
Debbie too.
Looking good, Debbie. Yeah.
Bye,
Take care,
everybody.
everybody.
Good
Take
night.
care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm stopping recording and I'm gonna end the meeting.